Welcome to the California Maverick, a channel fighting for a free and sane California. You know, when I was a kid, I played Grand Theft Auto 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the PlayStation with my friends, and we would cause chaos. We would steal cars, run around like maniacs, and wreak havoc in this open world. But obviously it was a game, and it was all pretend. But I never thought I would grow up later on in life and watch Grand Theft Auto take place in reality, outside the digital world. And yet, here we are. There are huge pockets of California, major cities that are like a PvP server. You might as well make games called Grand Theft Auto Los Angeles, Grand Theft Auto Oakland, which is ranked one of the most lawless cities in the United States. How about Grand Theft San Francisco or Grand Theft Bay Area, the retail theft capitals of America? And then you can make 10 DLCs, downloadable content, for all the surrounding cities in these areas. And despite all of this, all of the theft, all of the robberies, all of the violent crime, politicians in Sacramento, especially our governor, Gavin Newsom, keeps telling you that crime is down. It's at a record low. We got a lot to get into. So according to California Democrats, violent crime is down and has been down since 2024. But anyone with a functioning brain cell can see that's all lies and gaslighting. It's all bullshit. All it takes is a simple Google search, go on any type of social media, or now you have great tools like AI to tell you the truth, to peel back the layers of the lies and gaslighting.
Oh, what the fuck? Go, we out. Now take off. Let's go. Yeah, nigga.
What are you about? Crime, terrorism, freedom. You feel me?
Despite U.S. News and World Report ranking Oakland as the second most dangerous place in America.
How'd I go out there on the field? Do you think every adult you know has been robbed at least once around here?
Maybe close to it. I'm not gonna say everybody.
If you want to do crime, come here, bro. There's hella crime. You will not get caught, straight up.
I've been bit twice in one day.
So was it worth putting a baby at gunpoint simply to get a couple sweatshirts? Some people call this place Gotham City. Others say it feels like a real-life Grand Theft Auto server. Folks, this is Oakland, California, a city dominated by robberies, theft, and in-your-face crime. U.S. News ranked this as the second most dangerous city in America, and the theft culture here is so deep that it invented its own vocabulary. Bipping, boosting, two crimes so common that every resident here knows exactly what this means. This is bipping.
And look here, you can see the man reach into this blue SUV where it looks like there is someone inside. There's a hand right there, and you can hear someone screaming.
This is boosting.
This is the moment more than 20 masked and hooded people stormed into Heller Jewelers in broad daylight Monday.
The first thing is California is a revolving door of criminals getting arrested and released. A lot of nonviolent crimes like retail theft, larceny, burglary, and even some robberies are downgraded to misdemeanors or infractions. Criminals are released before their court date. Sometimes they spend a few days in jail and they get released. And at times, especially if they're juveniles, they get to skip trials altogether. Many times after these crimes, these people aren't even arrested. They face zero accountability, either because they got away, or law enforcement has to catch them in the act of committing said crime, or the worst of it all is it happens so frequently that law enforcement doesn't even respond or bother even showing up and making an arrest. And recently, this year, the California legislature passed a bill granting early parole for youthful criminals. And youthful means anyone under 26 or a juvenile. And it's violent criminals that commit serious crimes like armed robbery, trafficking, homicide. In San Francisco, if a robbery or burglary is committed that's non-violent, police don't even show up. Even if the crime is happening at the moment, police still won't respond if the people's lives aren't being threatened or it's non-violent. So those don't even get reported and no one gets arrested. So there's zero accountability. So yeah, crime is down, but it's because people aren't getting arrested. People aren't getting charged. Police don't even respond to calls.
There's been a concerted effort to deny the increase in crime in California over the last year and a half, but we know that homicides increased significantly nationwide by 30%. In 2020, we know that homicides have increased even more than that in the year 2021. We now know that homicides have increased in California's largest cities by 17% in the year 2021, and we know that property crimes have increased by 7% in major cities in California as well. That's just the official numbers. There's good reason to think that crime has actually increased significantly more than that. And the reason for that is that there's just a very large number of people that report that they no longer report crimes, particularly property crimes, car break-ins, shoplifting, other kinds of theft, because the police don't respond. And the police aren't responding for two reasons. The first is that the police forces themselves have been absolutely decimated. The police force of Los Angeles lacks 500 officers. In San Francisco, they lack at least 300 officers. And the other issue is, of course, that the district attorneys of both San Francisco and Los Angeles are not prosecuting many crimes. And so we've seen basically a withdrawal of police officers from making arrests, from taking reports, and then also a significant reduction of ordinary people being willing to file reports.
And then you have terms like boosting, which is what we see when you have those mobs of people just rush a store and steal and break and loot everything. And politicians want to tell you California's crime is down. But reality basically has normalized criminal behavior like bipping, boosting.
Happened again, a wild takeover at a local 7-Eleven like this one from last year. Welcome, everybody, to the Fox 11 News at 10 o'clock. I'm Marla Tejas.
And I'm Christine Devine. New at 10, you've seen these videos of 7-Eleven takeovers. Now it's happened again, this time in downtown L.A.
Dozens of teens this weekend overwhelming and robbing a 7-Eleven in broad daylight. Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf, he's live there in downtown outside LAPD with the latest on this case. Matthew?
Well, tonight, police are looking through that video. That's pretty wild to watch. In it, you can see dozens of teens swarm a 7-Eleven like hungry bees. New dramatic cell phone video Los Angeles police are combing through to investigate the latest flash mob robbery. Dozens of teens seen Saturday stealing and throwing items out of a 7-Eleven to others outside.
It worked because they don't got my face on it.
One teen bragging on camera why they feel untouchable.
Like nobody respects, anything or anyone, so they feel like they could get away with anything because, from what it looks like, they can.
And yet you have people like Gavin Newsom sitting there telling you that it's not happening straight to your face, completely and totally gaslighting you. Don't believe your lying eyes. There isn't any crime. Per capita, red states have more crime than blue states. Which leads me to my next point. A lot of these Democrat politicians, especially Gavin Newsom, are going around these podcasts and these press conferences telling you 8 of the top 10 murder states are red states.
These Trump supporters are going to claim that this was done in the interest of combating crime. But of course, we know that if you're looking at combating crime, there are other states across the country that have higher crime rates, higher per capita crime rates than Los Angeles and Washington, D.C. And yet these were the cities that he opted to deploy these people to.
Yeah, well, I think you should start with Shreveport, Louisiana, in Speaker Johnson's district that has 6+ times the per capita murder rate of Nancy Pelosi's San Francisco. What about the carnage, Mr. President, in Shreveport? Why aren't you protecting the folks there? 8 of the top 10 murder states in this country, red states. What bullshit. And everyone knows it. Everybody knows it.
So let's break it down. Are 8 of the top 10 murder states really red states? So I actually went to ChatGPT and Grok. I entered his exact line. No questions, nothing added. 8 of the top 10 murder states are red states. And guess what? Technically, he's not lying. He's correct. Now, one of those 8 states is New Mexico. Why it's labeled as a red state, I have no idea. It's gone blue in the last 3 general elections. So it's really 7 out of 10. But I will give Gavin Newsom and all the California Democrats that talking point for argument's sake. If you just dig a little deeper and just peel back one layer, and if you actually knew what you were talking about and were actually informed, you would know that the crime in these red states actually occur in Democrat strongholds, in these Democrat-run cities. So if you look at the list, Jackson, Mississippi, the murder capital of the U.S. New Orleans and Baton Rouge, both Democrat strongholds. Most crime comes from Baton Rouge. You also have Shreveport, which Gavin Newsom loves to mention because Speaker Mike Johnson, he loves to mention Shreveport. Guess what? Democrat stronghold. Alabama, red state, Birmingham and Mobile. Tennessee, Memphis and Nashville. St. Louis, Missouri, Little Rock, Pine Bluff. South Carolina, Charleston, Columbia, Greenville. Those are all blue cities. In Atlanta, also a blue city. And counting Georgia as a red state is also odd to me because it's more of a swing state. In 2016, it went red for Trump. In 2020, it went blue for Biden. And then in 2024, it went red for Trump. So to call it a red state is disingenuous. It's more of a swing state. And anyone with an ounce of critical thinking, especially these Democrats who think they know so much and are so educated, would know that and say, well, wait a minute, isn't Georgia more of a swing state? And the funny part of this is that I guessed most of these cities correctly. It's just obvious. But Democrat politicians know they can get away with this because they know that you're just going to buy into it. You're just going to accept the gaslighting, accept the propaganda because, I don't know, Trump bad, Republicans racist, gay rights, God knows what.
He added this about Republican states with high crime rates.
Just consider Speaker Johnson's state and district. Just look at the murder rate. That's nearly 4 times higher than California's. In Louisiana, Mississippi leads the nation as the #1 murder state in America. If the president is sincere about the issue of crime and violence, there's no question in my mind that he'll likely be sending the troops into Louisiana and Mississippi to address the unconscionable wave of violence that continues to plague those states.
I'm showing this clip to demonstrate the manipulative language and the deflection that this lizard person uses. He constantly mentions Louisiana and Speaker Mike Johnson. I'm not a fan of Speaker Mike Johnson, but Speaker Mike Johnson isn't the mayor of Baton Rouge. He isn't the mayor of New Orleans. He isn't even the governor of Louisiana. And Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Shreveport hold all the crime per capita for the entire state. Otherwise, the state is pretty safe. And from 2016 to 2024, the governor of Louisiana was John Edwards, who was a Democrat. That's why he only mentions Mike Johnson, because for 8 years straight, a Democrat was a governor. And he says Mississippi is the #1 murder state in the United States. That is also incredibly manipulative because Jackson, Mississippi, the Democrat stronghold, holds literally all the murder per capita for the entire state. Mississippi as a whole has relatively low crime. It's Jackson, Mississippi, where all the crime occurs. So Mississippi isn't the #1 murder state. It's Jackson, Mississippi, the #1 murder city in America. So you see how quickly this 8 out of 10 red state talking point falls apart and folds like a house of cards. But somehow, for some reason, they continue to get away with it over and over and over again. These Democrats are basically playing political theater to distract you and divert your attention to something else, like Republicans bad, versus actually holding them accountable for what they're doing or not doing. Which leads me to my last and final point, Prop 36. Californians all over the state at 68 to 70% basically said, we're tired of the crime. We're tired of unsafe neighborhoods. We're tired of living in these crime-filled, crime-ridden cities.
Well, a smash and grab at a San Jose jewelry store is sparking outrage in the Bay Area. Check out this surveillance video. It captures what appears to be a well-choreographed attack. On Friday afternoon, a car backed into the store. More than 15 people jump out of 3 vehicles and run inside. This is what it looked like inside that store as thieves wearing hoodies, masks, and caps snatched jewelry. The store owner and his son were both inside. The owner is an 88-year-old man who was pushed to the ground by one of the suspects. He was taken to the hospital where he later had a stroke. He is expected to be okay. His son was unharmed, but says that his family is traumatized. Now the family and community leaders are demanding action, or change rather, to crack down on smash and grabs.
This is very scary for every small business that own a shop. And for a lot of them, this is their livelihood.
It's becoming a huge problem. It's a crime wave that's happening everywhere. We need to get that Prop 36 funding that the governor was supposed to do, and we need to have it quick.
Voters overwhelmingly approved Prop 36 in 2024. It allows felony charges and increased sentences for certain drug and theft crimes. The law went into effect in December of last year, but these community leaders say the governor needs to adequately fund the new efforts to better protect small businesses from thieves.
Prop 36 reversed a lot of these soft on crime policies that have been plaguing California and California citizens for at least 15 years. But California Democrats and Gavin Newsom said, too bad, we're not going to fund it. We're going to do whatever we want to do. And we're going to spend your money how we see fit. And it's put us in a budgetary crisis for the 5th year in a row. And instead of funding Prop 36, they rather do the opposite and close prisons. Gavin Newsom is about to close his 5th prison. But you know where they rather spend their money? On healthcare for illegal immigrants, on tuition assistance for illegal immigrants, on the high-speed rail to nowhere. And they would rather lose $24 billion, which they told you was to solve the homelessness crisis. But instead, the homelessness has gotten worse. And the $24 billion turns out to be a massive money laundering and fraud ring.
According to the Department of Corrections, the closure of Norco State Prison in Riverside County will save the state $150 million each year. But law enforcement leaders from around the valley say it's not worth the cost of public safety.
If this continues, we are going to find California in worse shape than it is now, because I don't think that most people that live here feel safe.
Fresno County District Attorney Lisa Smitkamp reacting to the news the state is preparing to close another prison. The California Department of Corrections says the state's prison population has fallen from 173,000 in 2006 to 91,000 today, with over 2,700 prisoners at Norco. In a statement, Governor Gavin Newsom's office says that declining population is a big reason behind the closures, saying the population is at its lowest point since the late 1980s, and that's due in part to the investments we've made in positive programming and rehabilitation of the incarcerated population, in addition to other reforms made through the legislative process and initiatives passed by California voters.
To continue to say that the prison population has decreased because he's done such a great job as governor, when the truth of the matter is he's just continuing to release dangerous people into our communities.
The Department of Corrections, meanwhile, says they're closing the prison because of the state's multi-billion-dollar deficit, ensuring $150 million in state savings each year. Several sheriffs around the region say as prisons close, many of those serious offenders are landing in their jails, many of which already have a lack of beds.
Prior to that, you never did 1 year in a county jail. Now we have individuals that are sentenced to our local county jail here to do 6, 7, and we've even had a few like 10-year sentences.
Zanoni says to free up space, they have to release many lower-level offenders onto the streets as is. And if it doesn't change, he says it will only get worse.
It's a terrible message to criminals, because you're saying that, hey, you're going to get all these opportunities and there's no accountability and there's no real consequences. And it makes our communities unsafe.
Personally, I think things are going to get worse before they actually get better, especially when it comes to the crime. I just hope that it doesn't get so bad that the movie The Purge actually becomes reality and we can turn things around before it gets to that point. I think a lot of these beliefs that are plaguing the state, that are causing these harmful policies, are mainly with Boomer, Gen X, and older millennial women. But I think there's hope in the young Gen Z male. And I think a lot of people are starting to realize that what's been happening isn't working. And I do have some hope that things will turn around before we get to a point where it's so bad that there's no coming back. If you like this video, leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.